Today may have been a little on the warmer side as far goes. I think it was about high 20s, low 30s possibly. So it's not cool yet. No, not by any means. But with fall and then winter coming, stouts are going to be popping up soon. So let's start this fall season with a solid stout, or at least that I hope it's a solid stout from Kensington Brewing Company. Beer, 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 beer. Hello everybody, welcome back to me, Mate Brewski from the Brewski Review. And today the beer that I have for you guys is by the Kensington Brewing Company out in Kensington Market, Toronto, Ontario. And this is a very simply named beer. It's a stout. It's a stout. Very, very easy to remember. Anybody ask you? Well, it's just a stout. It's a stout. Stout with roasted cacao nibs, strong beer coming in at 5.8% alcohols by volume. No listed IBUs that I do not see on the very kind of cool looking can, you know, white, yellow, moony type stuff with some streamers, I guess. I don't know, kind of interesting. But yes, 5.8% alcohols by volume. No IBUs on the website, we'll get to that in a bit. And then on Untappd, showing it coming in at 30 IBU, so not too bitter. But hey, let's crack this bad boy open. Let's see what we got. Don't explode, and I think we're okay. Sweet. Liquor Bay's tulip style glass we're using today, or tonight, or whenever you're watching this, and let's pour it up and see what we got. Stout season, always a good time. Always appreciate fall and winter for stouts, 100%. Looking at the beer, it is fairly dark, don't get me wrong. It's not pitch black though. There is a bit of like a ruby tinge coming through it when I bring it up into the light. Just a slight ruby. It looks like almost like a deep red. It's in some light, but a nice, light to moderately brown head on top. Looking fantastic. Let's dive in. On the nose, chocolate. A little bit of milk, semi-sweet and dark, all three going on, which is pretty cool. And then moving into a bit of roastiness and molasses. And just a slight bit of coffee going on. Definitely more chocolate forward. I want to say darker, then semi-sweet, then milk, and then some molassesness going on around there. And then a nice roastiness or roasted coffeeness in the background. A little bit of a biscuit, it's sort of like a, not gingerbread biscuit, but like a sweet biscuit as well. It smells like a solid stout, can't complain. Let's dive in. On the sip, yeah, it's a stout. Definitely a bit more chocolatey forward rather than coffee. Nice chocolatiness, moving into a bit of roastiness, and ending on a slightly bitter chocolate, possibly even earthy and like somewhat nuttiness to it as well. Chocolates in here are, well, we gotta do the cheers. So cheers everybody, let's keep on drinking. Just getting back into the swing of things, doing these reviews. Don't do them throughout the week, so gotta get that review engine running. So if I'm a little low energy, could be the reason why for this one, but the next one I'm pretty sure I'll be back in the swing of things. Chocolate's on here for the flavor, definitely more of a semi-sweet to dark. I think semi-sweet seems to be the nice happy medium right there, and then you get a bit of molasses mimicking sort of like a milk chocolate-esque, and then that roastiness, that little bit of coffeeness comes up and just gives you a nice darker chocolate note, but also a nice coffee roastiness, and then on the end a little bit of like a woody and earthy sort of note to it as well, similar to that of campfire minus all the smoke, which is pretty damn cool. For a stout too, even at 5.8, it is a little thicker than most beers, and definitely right in the moderate, right in like the happy middle as far as stout goes, but it's not heavy. It's not heavy. It's a little thicker, but it's not heavy, and it's almost syrupy-esque, but not at the same time. Just a beautiful, beautiful velvety mouthfeel. A good bit of carbonation, not overly carbonated by any means. Maybe just coming on the cusp of moderately carbonated, but it fits well with the rest of the mouthfeel of the beer, where it's not being too aggressive, it's not too little, it's just in that happy medium. So it goes down relatively smooth and offers just great notes of what a stout is all about. To be honest, the name fits it quite beautifully. It's a stout. Nothing fancy, just straight up, it's a stout. Here you go, good to go. Damn, that is really good. Looking on here, the can. Kensington, it's a stout with roasted cacao nibs, 5.8% alcohols by volume, 30 IBUs according to Untappd. Description: look out of place. Face it, summer's over. Kind of shitty. They don't say that, but I did. Get ready for another 5 months of getting up in the dark and coming home in the dark. Do you like wet feet, frozen fingers, and salt-stained shoes? Sure hope so. Look, we didn't ask for this either, but we've got something that'll do the trick. This stout is brewed with an unbelievable amount of roasted cacao nibs, so you'll get a bunch of dark chocolate and freshly ground coffee flavor. Yes, it's a stout, but it's a damn good one. Honestly, it's a great description. Little bit of like a blurb there, intro sort of, giving you some visuals in your brains, of winter and the dreadedness of it. Yes, I'm not looking forward to wet feet, but that happens in the brewery most days, so that's fine. Frozen fingers are never fun. Thankfully, don't smoke anymore. That was always a bitch. And then salt-stained shoes. I mean, realistically, some people really get like all hung up on like salt-stained shoes and their car being salt-stained and shit. It's just like, look, that's winter in Ontario and probably most other places. One thing about the salt stain though is that whenever I go to Alberta in the wintertime in like Calgary and whatnot, they don't use specifically salt, but it's sort of like some sort of like gravelly salt mixture kind of, which seems to suck even more because not only are you getting salt stains, but if big trucks shoot those rocks backwards and you're behind one, you could get a nice chipped window. So at least with salt, I haven't run into that situation, but just, food for thought. Sometimes salt ain't too bad. Ingredients on here, we have water, barley malt, wheat malt, roasted cacao nibs, oat flakes, hops, and yeast. Beautifully labeled right there. And on the bottom, we did kind of have a canned on date. There are a bunch of dotty lines that probably say something, but I can't read it. It's too like spaced out. They didn't shrink it, I guess. So the date code like runs the entire width of the can, and yeah, you just can't read it. So I mean, at least there is something there, but I can't read it for the life of me. Moving over to the website, which is I gotta go back a little bit. It was on the shop page. Whoopsies. Gonna tell you why. KensingtonBrewingCompany.com. You get to the website. It says changes are coming, and then you have locations and hours and beer delivery. So I'm thinking, oh sweet, beer delivery. I'll just have to go to their shop page and find out about this beer. To find their beer list without going through hoops and ladders, just go to the Live in Toronto or Vaughan, and you hit order now, and then you gotta hit shop now again. So you gotta go through a few things, and then a nice pop-up comes, so we can just X that, and then you're here to the retail beer and beer cases, and also the Kensington Brewing Company merch. If you're looking for information about this beer on the website, long story short, already long enough, you can't find it. So that's the thing. No dedicated beer page. Not for sale on their online store. I was confused. I was thinking, are there two Kensington Brewing Companies? No, there's just the one. So website is, you can just disregard that for the moment. But go check it out if you want to buy beer. I mean, obviously, you got to go there to buy the beer or to buy different beers from them. But moving forward to Untappd, it's a stout. has been given a 3.68 bottle caps out of 5, and that's out of 775 ratings. Solid stuff indeed. What a peep. Oh, this was formerly called Temper, but now it's a stout. Somebody's saying. She says, intense terry roastiness. I'm used to this type of intensity in an imperial cask aged imperial, so it's a bit out of the ordinary to find in lower ABV. I had it in the fridge, but it is definitely getting better as it warms up. A seriously good stout. So that guy really liked it. Terry roastiness. There's a big bit of roastiness in here, to be completely honest, but it works quite beautifully. Usually when I'm getting like imperial cask aged, like barrel aged Russian imperial stouts and shit, I'm not getting as much roastiness, I'm getting a lot more booziness. But hey, if you're interested in picking up It's a Stout at your local LCBO, because that seems to be the only place to find it at the moment, you're going to be paying $3.50 for the 473 ml can. $3.50? Not bad. A little higher, 25 cents higher than what seems to be the average, but hey, you know what, it's stout time. Stouts seem to sometimes cost a little bit more, but $3.50 for a over 5% beer, and it's a stouty stout, and it's delicious. Yeah, go for it. I say go for it. It's a solid time. If you love stouts, you're not going to be disappointed with this one. So with that said, guys, cheers on the final sip. Let's get rate ratings and wrap the thing up. Kensington Brewing Co. It's a stout. I gotta say, it's a beautiful name because that's exactly what it is. It's a stout. If you've had, one or two stouts before, and you just think back to what those tasted like, or just a general taste of what a stout should be, pretty much got it right here. So yeah, good beer, great beer actually. Beautiful flavors, the coffees, the chocolates, the slight bit of molassiness, and that nice earthy woody note that you get on that finish, and the lingering flavors, along with some nice roastiness. Ooh, definitely a solid contender in the stout world. 7-8 out of 10 for me. Good stuff all around. As for the can design and the presentation in general, not a big fan of the graphic on here. Looks a little just wonky and kind of throws off the center of the can. I don't know where I'm supposed to start and where to end, so you're kind of left wondering, but you know what? That's all right, because you know what the best part is about this can? It's the information. You get a little story, a little picturesque image in your mind reading the first bit, and then you get the description of the beer itself, so that's really cool. Small, but good use of the real estate. Ingredients are listed, which is perfect, and there is a not clearly labeled, but there is a date code of some sort on the bottom, so maybe rejig the machine. I don't know how that date coder works, but yeah, get it to where it's legible and you're pretty good. No IBUs in the can, but that's not too big of a deal. Website seems to be partially under construction, maybe doing some reworkings, so there's no beer on that. There's no beer page, and on the shop side of things, there's no information or evidence that this beer exists. That's more or less up to the LCBO and Untapped or any other beer drinking website that you use to find out information. So can't really go off that. Overall presentation, going to be focusing strictly on the can though. A solid, solid 8 out of 10 for me. Before I leave you guys, if you have any comments, questions, or beers you want to review in the future, you can leave all that information down in the comment box below. If you want to go and like this video or subscribe to me, Mate Brewski, that'd be greatly appreciated as well. And with all that said, that's going to do it for me, Mate Brewski. Like I always say, crack a beer and enjoy. Cheers. Fall, winter time, please stay away for a little longer. At least keep the warmer weather, 'cause I'm not ready for freezing cold and freezing asses and freezing my fingers off. Cheers.